Well, hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this major primary night in American history. We will begin very shortly, so please give us a couple of moments while we let people join and while we allow everything to work its magic. So please give us a couple of moments and please share the video, subscribe, like, click the notification bell in the meantime to make sure you keep up with Navesh's Royalties primary coverage. Thank you, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Good afternoon, good night to everyone, depending on your time zone. My name is Navesh Royalty, and thank you so much for joining me on this primary election night in America. We're coming on to the brisk of major primaries tonight. We have in the New York congressional and state Senate races, we have Florida's primary, and we have Oklahoma's senatorial runoffs. Now, we are coming up with major primary results, and on the brisk of us coming on live, we made one major projection that we're going to start off with right now. In the major race of New York's House District of the 12th Congressional District, it was due to redistricting that Congressman Jerry Nadler, who is the chair of the Judiciary Committee, will face off with his incumbent and fellow Democratic Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney. Now we are coming on to the brisk, and we can now project that Gerald Nadler, or Jerry Nadler, will win the primary of New York 12. Again, breaking news. Congressman Jerry Nadler has won the New York 12 primary for the United States House. Now, no word from Representative Maloney, but recently Carolyn Maloney got the endorsement of Congressman Matt Gaetz and former President Donald Trump, both conservative Republicans who have came out against Maloney. Now, Maloney rejected both of the endorsements, and Donald Trump said he thinks that she is the best candidate in that race. Now, another race we are closely watching is New York's House 10th Congressional District. There is an open seat in that congressional area, and we have former Trump impeachment lawyer Dan Goldman, who unexpectedly received the endorsement of Donald Trump, the person he was the chief lawyer to impeach. Then we have the incumbent Congressman Mondaire Jones. We have Yelene New, who is an assembly member. Carlina Rivera, a New York City Council member. We have Joanne Simon, an assembly member. We have Elizabeth Holtzman, who is a former representative for the United States of America. Now, the top contenders for this race are Dan Goldman, Yelene New, Carlina Rivera, and Mondaire Jones. Now, currently, how this race is looking is it's Dan Goldman leading right now at 25.8%. Dan Goldman, 25.8%, and Yelene New at 23.3%. So it's very close right now. 79% is in, but we have 12,237 votes for Dan Goldman, and we have 11,079 votes for Yelene New, and 79% of precincts reporting House District 10. So when we come back, we are going to talk more about New York's House congressional districts, and we are also going to talk about Florida's House congressional and Florida's state and citizen primary. Very sorry for that time that we had to take very quickly. We had to upload some new results coming in from the Secretary of State of New York and Oklahoma and Florida. So it was very important that we contact them to let them know that results, we still want them and that they're very important at the moment. So that is what we were doing during that meantime break. But again, New York 12, Jerry Nadler, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, the House Judiciary Committee, a very long time serving member of the United States House of Representatives. But Carolyn Maloney, she's also a veteran in the United States House of Representatives. Maloney, she is the chair of the House Oversight Committee, meaning that Democrats will need a new leader on their Oversight Committee. Obviously, whether they retain the House or they lose it, they still need a member to ranking member, or obviously to govern over the Democratic Party in that race. So obviously, Congressman Jerry Nadler, he did win that. It was a very extravagantly closely watched race, but at the end, Jerry Nadler has won, and he won with 40,000 votes. I mean, it was 55.9%. That equaled to 40,593 votes. And Carolyn Maloney only has 24.2 and 17,551, 91% is precincts of reporting. And obviously, that was a very close watch that we called. But Carolyn Maloney wasn't in the lead for the entire race. She was just out of it. She was in second place the entire race. And if you're wondering, there was another candidate, a Democrat, Suraj Patel. He ran against Carolyn Maloney in 2020. It was a very close race in 2020. He's not far behind Maloney. Maloney being an incumbent, 24.2 in a district like that, it's not very good. She got 24.2. He got 18.9. And Maloney only got about 4,000 more votes. Jerry Nadler did really good in this primary. Now, in House District 7, Nadia Velazquez, she did defeat Paperboy Prince, and 56% precincts in. She won majorly. 85% goes to her. The House Democratic Caucus leader, Hakeem Jeffries, she did actually win. He won majorly. It was a major margin, 87.1% to Quanta Johnson's 12.9%. Very good for Hakeem Jeffries. That is a solid Democratic seat in the November general election. Now we are turning to House District 17, another muchly considered a key race. You have two progressives, one endorsed majorly by the more Bernie Sanders progressive, Green New Deal progressive, and then you have the progressives like Speaker Nancy Pelosi and those type of progressives. The incumbent Sean Maloney is leading 64% to Assembly member Alessandra Biaggi's 35.6%. Now, Sean Patrick Maloney is only leading by 3,000 votes, but there's only 24% of precincts in. This is a closely watched race. It's a closely watched battle between will the incumbent retain this seat. Obviously, we just called that that Carolyn Maloney is booted. She got booted by her fellow incumbent, Jerry Nadler. So obviously that race has yet to be called, only 24% precincts in. So now let's turn to House District. We are going to turn to the House District 19 special election. Now, this is a major special election because Governor Kathy Hochul appointed Antonio Delgado, a U.S. House representative member, to become her lieutenant governor. And Tom Reed resigned to fulfill another job, but also he was facing sexual harassment allegations, and he wasn't going to run for re-election one way or the other. He made that clear, but he ended up resigning. So the House 19 special election, the Ulster County Executive, Pat Ryan, is running, endorsed by Kathy Hochul, Antonio Delgado. He is leading at 68.4%. Actually, we just got some votes in. It's 68.4%. This is a Democratic current seat. It's a current Democrat seat. It's obviously vacant, but a Democrat did hold it. But in recent times, it has been known that the Republican is likely to get this seat. It's leaning a Republican seat. But Pat Ryan, he's holding it down right now. At the moment, he has 14,979 votes, equivalent 68.4, against Mark Molinaro. He is the Dutchess County Executive. He is also the Republican nominee for governor in 2018. He narrowly lost to Governor Andrew Cuomo, the former governor. He only has 6,929 votes. So it's 68.4% to 31.6%, 31% of precincts in currently. In the House special election for District 23, Max Della Pia is leading, the Democrat. This is now a Republican seat. If the Democrats get this, it's considered a flip. If the Democrats get the other seat in 19, that would be a hold, a retain. But Max Della Pia, he's leading. This is a significant because obviously it's a Republican district. But 61.5 for him, that's 8,637 votes against Joe Sempolowski with 38.5% at 5410 votes. Now, only 23% precincts in. Obviously, you see the big difference. No big difference, really. Max Della Pia and Sempolowski, only 3,000, actually getting in some new votes now. The Democrats still leading, but now the lead is over 5,000 votes. So there we go. Another important lead that's coming into play as these big races come in. So now we're going to head to Florida, where polls closed at 7 p.m. on Eastern time zone towns in Florida and 8 p.m. in the rest of Florida. So, with 90% of precincts in, the Florida Democratic primary reported that Charlie Crist, the former Republican governor, yes, he was a Republican. He was the governor of Florida. Then he did not. He resigned, and after that, he became an independent. Then switching over to the Democratic Party. He currently is a U.S. House member in the U.S. House of Representatives. He got endorsed by Speaker Nancy Pelosi and several House delegations member. He got the endorsements of most Floridians, and he was the majorly favorite in this race. But Nikki Fried, who is the only statewide Floridian elected Democrat, she did lose this race by about 30%. Now, Charlie Crist, he was a Republican, but he did win it. He won it with 59%. That equivalent to 876,452 votes. He won that. Then Nikki Fried with her 35.5%, equivalent to 526,956. Robert Willis with 3.0%, that was 44,835. And then Candace Daniel, 2.5. We're getting breaking news. 99% precincts now reporting. So that race, it's about to close. 99. Charlie Crist is the projected winner. He has won the Democratic nomination and will face incumbent Governor Ron DeSantis in November for the Florida governor race. In the Florida Senate primary for the Democrats, with 98% of precincts reporting, only about 43,685 votes remaining. Val Demings, a U.S. House member, is the projected winner. She won abdominally on every single county besides two, which were the counties of Holmes, Florida, and Liberty, Florida. And those were won by Brian Rush. But Val Demings, she overwhelmingly won this, 84.3. She got 1,227,202 votes. Val Demings got an extraordinary number of votes. Over 1 million votes for Val Demings in the Democratic primary. Obviously, she got more than Charlie Crist in that race. But Brian Rush, 6.3, he got 91,962. William Sanchez got 5.6% with 81,838 votes. Then Ricardo De La Fuente got 55,313 votes. 98% precincts reporting. That in the total that we calculated all the votes of the Democrats. This was when there was there wasn't all precincts reporting, but there was a couple of precincts reporting, and those precincts that we did decide were of New York was showing that there were over 1 million votes in all, and likely Val Demings will get all of those votes in November. So Val Demings will face incumbent Republican Senator Marco Rubio in November. Now turning back to New York, we are making a projection in a major key race. This is in New York's 17th Congressional District. We can now project that Sean Patrick Maloney has defeated Alessandra Biaggi. Now, this is a key race. We are considering it a key race, and it was closely watched. But obviously, Sean Patrick Maloney, he won 66.2. It's only 32% in, but 66.2 to Alessandra Biaggi's 33.5. Not looking very good. That's 33% he's leading by. And when you're at 32%, you don't want it to look like that. So we are going to project Sean Patrick Maloney did win that race, that primary. So only one Democrat lost renomination. Now, there was only one, but New York was a major key because there weren't a lot of races in here that a lot of people, there were a lot of races that a lot of people wanted to know. Will Carolyn Maloney win? Will Jerry Nadler win? Will Dan Goldman win? Will Yelene Yu win? Will Carolina Rivera win? Will whoever win? It's a lot of views that draw people to it. Will Sean Patrick Maloney win? Will Alessandra Biaggi win? Will Mark Molinaro win the special election, or will Pat Ryan win the special election? Will Max Delapia win the special election, or will Joe Sempolowski win the special election? It was all these races that drew the people to it. So now we are turning to Oklahoma. Oklahoma did have a Senate runoff election. Now, in the primary, no candidate crossed the threshold that was needed. And in that Senate runoff, we can project that Madison Horn did win the Democratic nomination, and she will face James Langford in 2022 in the midterms in November. But in the Republican primary, the special runoff, Mike Wayne Mullen did win the primary. She faced T.W. Shannon, and the former Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives. Mills was Trump endorsed, and he did win the primary in that great state of Oklahoma. So Jim Inhofe, he is resigning in November. He is actually resigning, in January of 2023. So that triggered a special election. So 2 Senate seats are up for grabs in November. So there we go. Looking to see any races more to call. 12 out of 16 of the Democratic House races in New York have been called, while only 3 out of 8 of the GOP have been called. So we are calling Nicole Malliotakis. She is going to face Max Rose. That's a rematch from 2020. Malliotakis did defeat Max Rose in that race in 2020. So will that happen? That's a Staten Island district. It was Republican. Max Rose flipped it in 2018. Well, probably it's a lean Republican. It's more towards the Republicans that you think it is. So now, in the meantime, I am looking to try to see some state Senate primaries that we are looking at here, because very much key primaries in these races. So I'm trying to give it a moment, and let's look. Excuse me, please give me a quick minute while I look for these races. So we are looking at the election night results. We're going to look at state Senate for New York and District 15 specifically for the Democrats. And here's where we are at in that race. So this is a key race we're considering. Joseph Adabo Jr., he is the Democratic incumbent, and he's at 56.25. He's facing two primary challenges, Albert Baldeo and Japneet Singh. Now, Japneet Singh is in second place with 1,972 votes at 28.70, while Adabo leading is at 56.25, which is 3,865. And Albert Baldeo is at 957 votes, which equal 13.93 votes. So that is a major key race that everybody is looking at. Let's get an update if we have any updates in New York House 10. We're getting very close right now. Dan Goldman, 15,341 votes, 25.2. Yelene Yu, 24.3 with 14,759, 87% of precincts in. This is one of the closest races I've seen tonight. Again, Dan Goldman, 25.2%, only equaling to 15,341, while Yelene Yu, as expected, second place in the polling. She was narrowly down by 0.7%. This is looking like it will be what will happen. Yelene Yu, 24.3%. She's just shy of leading by. She is now leading by 0.11%. She needs 0.11%. Dan Goldman is leading Yelene Yu by 0.11%. 87% precincts in. No call in that race. A major key race there. Mondaire Jones, he's currently in third place, 10,966 with 16% of precincts in, while Carlina Rivera is in fourth place, 17.1% of precincts in. So Carlina Rivera didn't do as they expected. Mondaire Jones, he wasn't expected to win. It was expected to come down to this Dan Goldman and Yelene Yu. Obviously, polling did come down to them, first and second place for Yelene Yu and Dan Goldman. So, obviously, just looking to see any projections more that we can figure out. Josh Breachin has won the U.S. House Republican runoff election in Oklahoma's 2nd Congressional District. Again, Josh Breachin has won the U.S. House congressional runoff in Oklahoma's 2nd Congressional District, so we can now project that. Again, now everybody is now projecting it. Sean Patrick Maloney, we already called it. Sean Patrick Maloney has defeated Alessandra Biaggi, 42% in. It was 9,431, equaling to 66.3 to Biaggi's 33.1, 4,703. We already called that, but now everybody is starting to call that. Of course, we are updating on Twitter right now. You can follow us at NR Politics Desk, and you will see our logo there. We post all results beginning whenever the first poll closings do start. We count down to the poll closings, especially when they're major. Like today, we started at 7 o'clock, giving Florida's primaries and when they started to come in. And we look at the analysis and we make the projection. So obviously, there is only one race remaining to be called in New York's House congressional districts for the Democrats, obviously. Only one major key race, and that is now the one of New York's 10th congressional district. Yelene Yu, Dan Goldman leading by 0.11%. There we go. They just called it. Sean Patrick Maloney, he did win that. We already called that. Has won the Democratic nomination for New York 17. Sean Patrick Maloney won the Democratic nomination. There we go. Everybody's starting to project that. Now, everybody is again now starting to project Jerry Nadler is the projected winner. There we go. We obviously called that already, so nothing to worry about. Max Rose now calling it. Again, some late people. We're waiting closely to see the House special elections. These are some races that we want to tell you about. And now last week, if you are If you watched us last week, we were live at 11:30, and we gave you election coverage in Alaska. And Sarah Palin, she's still in second place, and it's seeming very odd in that race there. Looking to see if we're getting any election. They're still on Sean Patrick Maloney. Okay, so we are going to give this to you. If you would like to stay up to date with our political coverage and breakdown for the House special election, we please ask you to please subscribe down below, hit the notification bell, as well as continue sharing the video. We really appreciate your views. Thank you so much for joining. Follow us on Twitter, NR Politics Desk. NR Politics Desk via our website, nnnewsorg.com, or please continue to watch the videos. The only way you'll know is hit the notification bell and subscribe to us. Thank you and have a great day. Have a great night. We look forward to seeing you on the next primary election night coverage we feature. Have a great day. And I believe actually that primary coverage will be on, I can tell you exactly the date, that will be on nothing in my calendar right now. No primary coverage scheduled, but we can tell you very soon when that primary coverage will be. Obviously, we will tell you once we get the official dates from there. Again, if you want to see the primary results in your New York's House special election for New York's 19th Congressional District, please follow us, NR Politics Desk, NR Politics Desk on Twitter. Thank you. Have a great day. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day. Goodbye.